Episode number 190. We're kicking it off from the 401 again. This is kind of familiar. We're back on the road here, headed to Copetown Woods again. Kind of like our satellite pod hosting site. As you know, this week the RBC Canadian Open is at Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Copetown is right next door, and we're lucky enough to have past guests in front of the pod, Cam Kellett on, and his brother Connor, which is going to be really cool. Connor's going to be on the bag for Cam, so this is a really cool episode. Caddying is just an absolute blast. I can't imagine what those two are thinking right now, being able to kind of do that together. Like, what an absolute dream. We got some stuff here from our friend at Full Wedge Golf. I got the Never Laying Up hat, so make sure you go check that out. But yeah, we got a package here. Look out for Cam. He's going to be looking sharp, wearing Full Wedge gear this week, which is really cool as well. That's our partner on the pod. And we're just happy to share episode number 190 with you and kind of be able to do it live, sit down and chat with somebody who this week is going to be playing on the PGA Tour, which is really, really cool. So happy for Cam. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Played absolutely lights out at Taranto at the qualifier a couple weeks ago, shooting 6 under for a course record there. Really tough track too, so that's a hell of a score. But yeah, hopefully you guys really enjoy this one. If you're interested, I'm pretty sure Cam's got a Full Wedge code. If he does, I'm going to throw it in the bio below, and you can support the player directly. That's going to be on the podcast here. Or if he doesn't anymore, but whatever it may be by chance, you can always use our code. It's OTS, simply OTS. That gets you 20% off at fullwedgegolf.com. I'm excited for this one. I hope you guys are too. I'm just going to keep driving a couple more hours here on the 401, but you don't have to wait for that. We can get right into the pod here with Cam Kellett and Connor Kellett. Enjoy the Canadian Open week. Thank you. It's RBC Canadian Open week, and Cam Kellett is in the field. This is almost like a take two. So yeah. Cam Kellett and his brother Connor Kellett on the bag this week. So Cam, can we just jump in, quick little intro, and then Connor, if you don't mind doing the same?
For sure, yeah. Cam Kellett from London, Ontario. This is my second pro start. I just finished school at Eastern Michigan. Proud Eagle there. Spent 3 full seasons with them, and this will be my second pro start, like I said, and from London, Ontario. That's pretty much all I got.
So, how did it go? Your first pro start? Did you know that this was happening?
Yeah. It was last week, so it was good. My head was spinning a bit with everything going on with this week coming up, but it was good. It was on the all pro tour out in Oklahoma, so nice. It was good to shake off the rust and let go of some expectations that I might have had going into that week, and learn that that's definitely not favorable to have any sort of expectation. So yeah, it was good. I felt like it was a good way to work off the rust and get the first one out of the way.
Love that, man. Love that. Connor.
How's it going, everybody? Connor, Cam's older brother. There's 3 of us in total. But yeah, lucky me, I get to work on the bag this week. Yeah, I've caddied for Cam a few times, just doing amateur events. We got a couple wins under our belt, so yeah, it was pretty special. I got a front row seat to watch him, shoot the course record at a course super close to our hometown, and that was pretty special to be able to join him on this opportunity, and yeah, it's pretty special. So I'm glad to be here. I work a construction job in London, sheet metal worker in London. I got 4 or 5 guys on my crew. Bestard Mechanical, got to shut the boys out. And yeah, I mean, lucky enough the boss was able to give me a week off, and got the chance to be here. So
there's special weeks, man, and this is definitely one of them. Mm-hmm. Like Connor was telling me, he's eating breakfast with Nick Taylor this morning, talking about the toaster and stuff like that.
It was pretty cool.
What do I do with my hands kind of moment, But Connor, can you kind of take us through I'm gonna have to pan to that one, Cam. Can you take us through the round at Taranto? So we have the course record holder beside us here. You got a front row seat for that. You guys kind of knew what was on the line, obviously. Like, we're here now. In a couple days, we'll be teeing it up as this pod comes out. Cam will be on the course, so go watch. Can you kind of take us through from your point of view, Connor, how that
round was going, that obviously your brother, like, you're getting to see like one of your best friends kind of go through that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So 2 days before the actual event for the qualifying was our dad's 60th birthday. So we went out and just, kind of pissed around and played 18 a couple of days before, and Cam was hitting it just, nails that day. So, kind of went into it with a bit of an expectation because he played Tarandala so many times that, I was just going to go out there and keep our heads cool, and the weather was perfect. I mean, there wasn't wind really until our 18th approach shot, so right off the first tee, I mean, he had a terrible lie. We're just sitting there staring at it. He goes, I'm just going to hit it. I'm just going to hit it with a 60 degree.
At least we'll know now.
And he just, terrible lie, sticks it to a foot. So that's how the day started.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just kept bouncing and, just making them and making quality shots when it mattered. And it just, everything turned into one big, just great round. And I think, it was probably a good thing he didn't tell me that winning that event would have got him into the Canadian Open, because he didn't tell me until after the putt dropped.
You didn't know?
No.
You had no clue.
He told me, he goes, I think we're going to the Canadian Open, Tom. And I was like, yeah, like after the next round of qualifying. He goes, no. The winner gets to go. I was like,
that's pretty special, man.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was at the Oshawa one. I was walking behind Justin Matthews, who got on. He was a couple groups behind us. I was with my cousin Blake. Didn't have the stuff that day. Same type of thing. Like, Oshawa is a special spot for him. He was a club champ there a couple years ago. He's had a hole one on a par 4. Like, he shot mid 60s there, so he just didn't have his stuff that day. We got a bit of a bad draw. He didn't golf a whole ton either, but just kind of being out there and having that feel, knowing, like, I was walking around, I was doing a little camera work, and I was like, someone here is getting it. And it turned out to be Justin Matthews, who was on the range beside us, and that guy's got a special game too. But so Cam, you won that event. Couple slots down the leaderboard was EMU friend Michael Blair. So can you kind of talk us through how that day went from your perspective? You've obviously had some special rounds, but you were just feeling it that day? It was just your day?
Yeah, I would say, like, things sort of lined up for me, I would say, that day, but at the same time, like, I just we did a really good job of not getting down on ourselves. Like, after any sort of bounce, like, there was not even a tone of negativity. Like, we just weren't having it. We knew that I had one of the best chances of anybody because of the experience I'd had on that course and how I was hitting the ball. So, like,
and your experience over the years too.
Yeah. So I think I knew I had a great, a great opportunity that day. So, but it was obviously hard, like you say. Like, everybody's got that feeling. Everybody's like, listen, somebody's getting through here, and everybody wants it a lot. And I think I was able to compartmentalize that, desire a little bit better that day, because I knew that to get that, I had to really immerse myself in every single shot, like a little bit extra. And I think that's what I did particularly well that day. Like, I just committed a little bit harder, I would say, a little bit more to each shot. And that's all I was really focused on coming down the stretch. It was just staying in that sort of mindset. And it just turned out to be like, making a couple extra putts than usual. And then I, signed my card for 64 and going, obviously I had the afternoon to wait around. So it kind of sunk in, what I had just done, as I was waiting there to see if it was going to hold up. And yeah, it was a very special day. And I think you could say it was my day, but I would never want to say it's a fluke or anything, like, because I know, people say, oh, that guy careered it or whatever, but I think I did a really good job at managing my process that day. And I think that's the key to any week, but particularly, Mondays like that or regional qualifiers where it's just that much more important.
Well, we have that conversation so much. Like, we're talking about guys like yourself, NCAA players, PGA Tour Americas players and stuff like that. And the cues, or any cue, is just like, it seems so intense. Everybody is just like going, like, they're just balling out. Like, they're just trying to hit every shot that you possibly can, right? So, Connor, you take anything from that? Like, when you guys are going through the round, are you trying to, like, keep him in any headspace? Are you working on anything with Cam through the round?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just bring him back to being a human being and not the competitive freak that he is, right? That's the nature of all these guys, right? They all want to win just as bad as the next guy, and being able to keep his head, in the mindset of this is your process, this is what you need to follow. You call it the game plan, but at the same time, this has been his whole life, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard to call it a game plan for what it is, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool that his process is working for him.
What's it like in between shots for you guys? What's the
We try and chum it up.
Okay.
We try and joke around, and we get a bunch of funny little.
I asked that question
right?
too because it's 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah,
It's like
it's long.
you need to have Cam on for that 30 seconds going through pre-shot routine, that kind of stuff when you get your number, all the angles and that kind of stuff, like if you're whatever you're working with. I know we talked with Decade and stuff before, so but then you have 6 minutes until your next shot or whatever it might be, or 5 minutes. So I'm always kind of curious because whenever I've caddied with friends and stuff like that, I was telling you about Ziggy and stuff before, like talking about chicken wings and fast cars and stuff like that, and just trying to keep it light, right? Just trying to keep it like relatively light to try to get us through that round and keep your head right and forget any shots that maybe didn't work out or whatever it was. So we fast forward from Tarandoa, and now we're at the beautiful Copetown Woods. So we're 15 minutes away from Hamilton Golf and Country Club, which is the host of the 2024 RBC Canadian Open. So obviously there's a lot of history there. Rory's won here before, he's back. Pretty special spot. I think that was 2019. Cam, this is not that far from your home, but how's the week been leading up? I'm going to ask you kind of the same question, Connor. It's obviously a different feel. I'm not going to ask you what I would consider a stupid question. Is this one different than the other ones? Because obviously it's different. It's your second pro tournament. We're playing in the Canadian Open, but is this one, is the prep a little bit different here? You got more hands on deck probably. What's kind of been going on for you the last few days, and what do you expect the next couple of days?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think it's definitely a bit different prep. Finding myself to be managing stress levels is definitely a bit harder to do with this much going on. Trying to get everything lined up in the sense of what I'm going to wear and making sure that everybody's happy around me and getting back to people. And I hate leaving people hanging, so I'm trying to get back to all my messages and just sort of. That's been the last week. It was just trying to take care of that part and just everybody. It's just the support has been so overwhelming, and I'm very, very grateful for everybody that's in my corner and people I haven't talked to in years, and then other people that I've just kind of formed relationships with in the last few months that have just been so helpful in getting me in a good headspace to just go free up and go play my game. But yeah, the prep is definitely different. I would say it's a little bit more meticulous, just kind of trying to get myself into a spot where I'm swinging well enough that I feel like I can compete. And it doesn't really take much. It's just a matter of kind of settling into my environment a little bit more, which is something that I'm not used to, obviously, a first tour start. So it's just a lot of different feelings that I have to deal with. And
are you working with any, I know you mentioned Game Above and our friends at Full Wedge, with Andrew and stuff like that. There's obviously so many connections and stuff that you're making, trying to get everything together for this week. But are you kind of working with some of your partners to kind of help build that game plan for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think Game Above's done a great job at giving me an opportunity. I'm one of their athletes, and they're supporting me and taking care of me as I start my professional journey. And I'm very grateful for that. And my agent, Adam, he's been really good at, keeping me in a good headspace and keeping me grounded and letting me know what I got to do to compete at the highest level. And Brett White he's also one of the Game Above athletes that I got to spend a few days with in Oklahoma. He was playing last week as well. And he's had 2 pro PGA Tour starts. One was at the Waste Management, so he kind of, let me know about what's everything that's going to be involved. And I feel I have such a great opportunity through Game Above to have all these resources and people to talk to. That's that I really didn't. Like, I had that before. Like, my support system is great as it is, but to have this is like, it's just ultra professional. And it's something that I think I needed that I didn't know I needed. So I'm very grateful. But yeah, he's very good at just kind of taking care of my needs off the course and just allowing me to go play and free up. So yeah, that part of the prep it's been interesting. I didn't think there was this much to it, to be honest, when I turned pro. But obviously life comes at you fast, and to get such an amazing opportunity so early, you have to just kind of. I've found myself just pretty scared and afraid some days, and I find you just gotta go head on into it. There's no other way around it. Like if you try to dodge the bullet, it's just gonna come back. You just gotta take it for what it is. Like, it's scary for everybody, but you just gotta tell yourself you're ready for it and go get it.
I think one of those things too is trying to like remember. Like for me, I'm not a professional athlete like Cam here, but remember what got you here, and like you deserve to be here playing in the Canadian Open on Thursday because of like all the prep that you've put in. 5 years at school, lapping the field at Tarandoa. With all due respect, some of our friends are in that field, but like there's a reason why you're playing there, right? And you got to kind of remind yourself of that, and have that confidence too, right? Like
for sure,
you got to try and bring that confidence in, right? Mm-hmm. So that's your brother's job to make sure that you have that going. So what's the experience been like for you, Connor? So like over the next few days, we mentioned Nick Taylor, having breakfast with Nick Taylor and stuff like that. So what's your expectations like over the next couple of days? What's your job right now?
Yeah, I mean, my job is to keep my player as, level-headed and as ready as for the week as he can be, right?
I find like when I've caddied before, you're just trying to like have an assessment of your player, right? So when you guys are brothers, so like you're going to know him better than almost anybody.
Yeah, managing my anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, like
I just find like you're kind of watching your player and you're like, okay, like what do they need? Do they need water? Like he hasn't had any water in a bit. Like that's extremely important. Like should we pull out a Cliff Bar? That kind of stuff. Like all of those things are really important. Or if you see he's kind of like down on a shot, maybe you're just trying to distract him with something, right? Yeah. So like, and then on top of that, though, your job is going to be the rest of the week managing all of that stuff too, right? So, and then sitting here on a podcast having to talk to me about it is, you've been up since 5, like you said. Same thing here. It's a long day, but I really appreciate you guys like coming out, man. It's such a good opportunity as well for us all to chat Canadian golf and whatnot, right? But Cam, I got to ask you, what are your expectations? I would be a fool to not ask you this question. What are you thinking? Like, what are you hoping for this week? You don't have to give me a number, but like, what is your expectation when you put the tee in the ground on Thursday on the 1st or the 10th hole? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish over the next 4 days?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my expectation, not results wise, is to commit the best I ever have in a tournament, and that's a high bar to set when there's so many variables going on, but I think if I do the right prep, then I'm going to be able to do that, just as well as I did at Tarandoa. And I think results-wise, I intend on getting a weekend tee time. That's definitely.
I said 4 days. I said it. I said all 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's.
I'm gonna come back on this. My job is to get Cam to the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, obviously, putting the tee in the ground, I want to win the golf tournament. Is it unreasonable? Is it lofty? First PGA Tour? Yes, it is. But like, I desire to, and my goal is to win the golf tournament. However, that being said, my reasonable expectation goal for me is obviously to get a weekend tee time. And, I think that's definitely manageable if I manage my state and do what I do well. And, we have fun out there. That's the main 3 things that are going to get me there. So.
Well, I think it's too, like, it would be so hard to, like, the experience, like, you would just get sort of, like you said, you get lost in it a little bit. There's so many stressful factors and stuff like that. Having to try to, like, reset, and that's probably what you're thinking, Connor, trying to, like, reset Cam to, like, bring you into the present, so to speak, like if that's a cliche or whatever, but like try to like really enjoy the moment, and like that's what's going to get you to the weekend. Like your game is good enough to play on the weekend, and in my, like, I remember like seeing your name pop up like at Tarrandone, and I got like goosebumps. I was so happy. I like sent you a message right away. But it's just like trying to think of like those moments, mix that in with your professionalism that you've always had, and try to get to the weekend, man, and just then it's like a free ball. Like try not to think about like, it would be hard not to be like, okay, well, if I place here, it's going to allow me to play pro golf like guilt-free or stress-free for 2 years or whatever. Like, I think you got to just kind of like enjoy it, man, and have it happen, right? So, are you doing anything like specifically, Connor? Are you kind of like when you're thinking about stuff, or you're putting anything in the bag? Is there anything that you're thinking of to kind of get them there, get them to the weekend, like you said, get your guy to the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, to have everything in its place, ready for him, that's huge as it is. I got a bit of shit earlier because I went and grabbed something when I should have, and I took the bag with me. And anyways, that won't happen again. So
he's learning. He's learning.
It's just a matter of being there for your guy. Like I said, it's as long as that line of communication's open, and and we're cool with each other, then things will be good. So
it's hard not to, like, when you're caddying. I find you get into a bit of a rhythm. Like, you'll settle into a rhythm just like Cam would. So, like, it's it's an important job. Like, he needs you there just as much as you need him to play well, right? And vice versa, and vice versa backwards. I think I just went in 3 different ways there. but man, like, he needs you to be like performing at your top level, just so he can, right? And you find a rhythm. Like, I find, like, when you first start playing and stuff like that, you kind of get to know like the other players. So when I've been doing it on PGA Tour Americas, there's 3 players, it'd be similar to like what you're going with. You kind of find out like what their caddies do and stuff. You see like what they like to do, and you can kind of like mix that in it, and find where you fit. Find where you fit in that group, right? So, Cam, do you compare yourself to like any other players when you play? Or are you just going out there trying to play your game this week?
Not when I play well. Yeah. When I play well, I definitely don't. It's something I struggle with, for sure. It's like, I think most people are lying to that. Like, you can have, once you get to a certain level of self-confidence, I assume, I'm sure you might not struggle with it, but I think anybody definitely struggles with comparisons. But it's something I don't, I don't like about myself when I do that. Is like a toxic trait of mine, I would say, to sort of compare. And because, like I was saying before, like, I really am so grateful for what I have and what I've built and my process. So I think it really takes away from my own self-respect a little bit when I do that. But yeah, like I said, when I'm playing well, I really don't give 2 shits about anybody else. And I think if you ask any guy out there, they'll say the same thing. I think that's something. It's like everybody says, it's a selfish sport, and it's actually interesting. My mom of all people was like, "Listen, Cam, you got to be a little bit more selfish this week," and she's probably the most selfless person I've ever met. So it's ironic, but it's true. To answer your question, I do struggle with comparison a bit, and it's certainly easy to do this week, and it's going to be a great lesson to learn. I feel like I learned a lot from that today. It took me 20, 30 balls on the range to settle in and realize, I belong here. And it takes a bit. But once you get past that and you get into your own process, like I said, it kind of takes care of itself. But yeah, it's hard not to compare yourself to guys who have done what you visualize yourself doing. So I think it's a normal thing as a human.
That's a competitive process too, and that's only just wanting to be there, right? So, Cam, I know it's late. It's we're out at Copetown Woods, so if you haven't played here, come check it out. Great spot, close to Hamilton Golf and Country Club. You might be able to get a tee time here for the weekend if you're watching this. But Cam, best of luck, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having us. It was awesome.
Thank you, man. I'm so looking forward. I'll be there doing some media, so I'm looking forward to kind of watching you guys. Maybe I can grab you for an interview or something while we're there on site. Man, best of luck to you guys. I think you guys are going to do awesome. I think we're going to be playing into the weekend. We're going to have a good time. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. You guys
yes, sir.
Blast.
Let's get it.
All right, episode 190. Thanks to Full Wedge for looking after Cam this week in the gear, too. Game Above, too. It sounds like they're doing a great job looking after Cam. So if you're interested, Cam's social media, I know you're not a huge social media guy, but it's in the show notes below. Grab some Full Wedge stuff. Do you still have a code there?
Yeah, I think Cam Kellett 15.
Perfect. There you go. Use that code and come play at Copetown Woods. Great spot. Cam, thanks so much. Connor, thank you, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Sweet.
Awesome. Good stuff. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was great.
He's out in my ball and of course so I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.